Hello once again, this is part 5. Now this time I'm going to show you how to paint this tile using just one colour, which is a light grey. Now normally my tiles are using 3 colours. A dark grey base coat, individual bricks picked out in a light grey here, and also individual bricks picked out in a greenish colour here. But all I'm going to do is paint it in a light grey acrylic. Give it a shake, make sure the colours mixed up. Squirt a little bit into a pot. Don't need much. Here is the tile. Here is the paint. There we go. That music you can hear in the background is from my iMac. It's playing iTunes, just random songs, for my collection of songs. Again, I'm painting the other side now. Just with the light grey, don't have to use much. Just enough to colour this tile. If you put too much paint in the pot, you're going to waste a lot of it. So there's no point in doing that. A few drops is more than enough. Because it's just enough to cover both sides of the tile without wasting too much paint. Unless you're going to be painting, say, 4 or 5 tiles in one go. But for this example, I'm just painting this one tile here. So I don't want to waste too much paint. And there we are. Painted it. It's the PLA black that I've painted as a light grey all over. Now I'm going to pause the video while I let it dry. And here is that same tile we painted a few minutes ago, almost dry. So I'm going to give it a second coat. Again, the grey. Again, don't need much, because all you're doing is covering the tile, and I'm only doing one tile. There is the tile, there is the paint, and get painting. Now, because you've done 2 coats, the first coat covers the non-porousness of the PLA. Right? So it covers all the nooks and crannies and gets rid of all the black filament. So the second coat makes the colour uniform throughout the tile. Turn it over and do. See, there's a side I've just painted. There's a top part now painted. Get the edges. There's no point in painting it and then missing these little tiny edges here. Right? Because it would show through as little black dots. And you don't want that. Now do the other side. Yeah, my selection of songs is very eclectic. I have some hard rock, some soft rock, even some gospel as well. my selection of songs is quite eclectic. Right? But then again, it's what takes my fancy as a song. Right? You might like different songs, but I like the ones I'm choosing. And there we are. Right, it's been painted. Yeah. Both sides and the top. I haven't done the edges because that's where my fingers are. Right? And I can't paint it with my fingers in the way. So when it's dried, I'll catch the edges where my fingers have been holding the tile. Right? And I'll make sure that all the bits and pieces that I missed where my fingers will be finished. Right? Now I just paint it in as a light grey. Now you can choose what colour you want. If you want to do it in a much darker grey, it's fine. If you want to do it in the pink, pink you can use. Or even the most horrible colour on the planet, purple. Right? Blech. If you want to use it in purple, you're perfectly, happy to use purple for your tiles. Use purple. Purple. Blech. But anyway, that's just a light grey, right? As you can see. Yeah. And you can see there's little bits missing. Right? So just to make sure you get them all, give the tile a good scrubbing, which then gets all the paint in every single nook and cranny. Right? Because if you don't, it's going to look silly when you come to do the detail. And there we are. Right? Those little black bits you saw are now gone. Right? There we are. And some on the other side. See? All covered. Now you could use this top for maybe a dungeon that has very light walls, maybe has even a cold environment, right? So maybe that's made out of ice blocks. If you're going to do that, you need to use a very, 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 very light blue colour, right? Which gives the paint a bluish tinge to it. Because if you look at snow, when it's in a very large mass, it's not pure white. There's a bluish tinge to it, and that tinge comes from the fact that it's water, and also it reflects light in a particular spectrum. And you just need a touch of blue, really, really small amount of blue, less than a fleece fart, and it's just painted grey. And there we are. Simple. Simple painted grey. And just leave it to dry now. Of course, you've got to try and put it down, which is a bit difficult because this part is wet, that part is dry. I've got to put it down. There we are. Done. As you see, that is my colour scheme. Right? That's just an example of if you choose a different colour scheme. I've chosen light grey. I could have easily chosen green. Or I could have easily chosen brown. Well, this is more like a sand colour. This colour is called, surprisingly enough, sand. And maybe the dungeon's in a desert scene or desert environment, right? See? Yeah, this is called sand. That's better. So I've got a little light on my computer here, right? Yeah, and that's called sand. Right. There you are. That's much better. And that's called sand. Right. So maybe your dungeon is in a desert environment, right? Where you use different colour browns, light browns, dark browns, to simulate the various colours of the stones. Right. So you can have different tile sets. Right. This system belongs to a more temperate environment, maybe like a forest environment, where the dungeons are made out of sort of like granite rocks, where they're greys, right, dark greys, and maybe even some green, right, which might be different types of rock, right. Where in a desert environment, they will be made out of sandstone. Right? So maybe your tiles will have a yellowish tinge to them, with some red, maybe very slightly red, right, and some dark browns. But mine is a forest environment. As you notice, most castles in England, okay, most of the stones are a greyish cast to them, because they're mainly made out of granite, right? and also flint as well, but it's normally made out of granite, which is a very hard rock, especially here in the UK. So in this environment they're made out of the same material, a greyish stone, granite in other words. See? Now when you put them together, and remember, you won't just have 3, you'll have lots. And see, there we are. You would have lots and lots of these. And the more you have, the more convincing it looks. Now, you can buy tile sets fully complete. 1 second, I'll be back. Hello. When I told you that my tiles are printed at 80% of the tiles, this is a tile printed at full size. This is the size that it should be. Here is a floor tile, so this should be this size here, but as you can see, it's not. But this is the size difference between 80% and full size. This was my first print test using ABS. As you can see, it's got a bit of a curl here because I was dialing in the temperatures of my filament, plus also the extrusion rate, and also the filament layer. It wasn't the filament layer that's the problem, it was the temperature. I had it slightly too low, but also had the heated bed not hot enough, so it had a bit of a curl here. When you dial it in, I suggest you print out a few pieces and at different temperatures, with the filament coming out at the temperature that they specify at the low range, say 190. Right? And also have the bed at about, say, 40 degrees. Then see how it prints and also how it adheres to the bed. If you get curl, then make the temperature of the bed hotter. If the extrusion rate of the filament is not high enough, you'll get under extrusion, right, where you won't have it fully stuck and you have separation of the layers. Increase the temperature of the filament and the extrusion rate for the print head higher. You then get a tile that looks roughly like this. It's quite solid, as you can hear. Right. And the infill is only 20%, and it's very solid. But that's at full size, and I realised that printing 1,000 like this would be far too big. Now you can buy tiles like this from Dwarven Forge, made of a PVC material this size. And you would get some pieces like this, and they would be passage elements, but they would be this size. As you can see, it's a size difference. That's 80% full size, right? And that would be a passage element, where that's the wall, that's the ground, and they would come like this, right? And that would be a passageway element. Right? Now you could order from Dwarven Forge 1, 10, 1,000 if you want, right? But if you had 1,000 like this size, it would be quite bulky. You'd have a really big box to try and transport your tile set. But because I print them out from printable scenery, they come as 2 pieces with Dragon Lock. But I'm going to use in this slot, right, a small magnet, 3mm by 4mm, and also the same in here. When I pull out the support filaments in there, the support in there, pull it out, put a 3mm by 4mm rare earth magnet, and when I put them together, they'll click, right, held by magnets, which means there's no clipping, no clips, which can easily be lost or then break inside. Magnets, easy taken apart, but the magnets are quite strong. Right? They're called rare earth element magnets, right? And it would stick like that. Well, through magnets, of course, not through glue. Right? Now, if you wanted to, you can glue these together like that. But remember, you'd have to transport it like that. Right? Where I transport it like that, in 2 pieces. This is white PLA, by the way. This is after I've got the temperature and the extrusion rate dialed in perfectly. As you can see, it's very detailed. See? And that is the floor. I'm still painting these, so they're not finished yet. These are edge pieces. That's an edge left. That's an edge right. As you can see, the column is on a different side. Edge left, edge right. And there is the open lock hole there for the pin. Because remember, I've printed mine 80% of the size. So you have to print your open lock pins at 80% of their size to get them to fit. Right? But as I'm going to use rare earth magnets, I don't really care about the pins. Right, remember, those pins are designed for full-size pieces, not 80% of the size. Right? But this one, as you can see, is a bit rough because I was still learning the temperature and the extrusion rate. Right? But I don't mind it like that. It's not so bad. Right? You can see I've missed a few pieces here and there, but I'm going to sort that out. And so I'm still painting these. And here is our tile painted. Now I've used a very light grey, and you can use what colour you want, but I've used a light grey. But that's part 5, painting tiles using a different colour scheme. Have fun!